Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And he's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer. Today we're reacting to the news that Andrew Tate is denied his appeal yet again. And like I said, he is the gift that keeps on giving. But before we get into Andrew Tate, I want to talk a little bit about kind of what he's facing. But before we get into that, let's talk about who we're sponsored by. We're sponsored by eSign.com. eSign.com, if you download that app, you get 3 free signatures a month. It's an effective way to remotely do business. Let's say you're going to Hustler University and you want to open 40 companies. Well, you can just open those companies with an e-signature, right? If you want to do that, I guess. I use it all the time when a client can't make it into the office. They just email them a retainer agreement with the e-sign on there, and you're done with business. So let's talk about Mr. Tate. His lawyers just appealed the latest ruling of detention. He's been in detention since December. If you remember, there's a lot going on about sex trafficking. Exactly, but we had somebody send us, we fact-checked it and traced it back to a Romanian newspaper. So then we translated it. So I got some good news information, some more in-depth stuff. And then we also have some new audio from Andrew Tate. Let's just talk about his business practices. Okay, you've got Hustler University. Well, it's not a university. It is a scam. It is a scam designed to give young, hopeless men hope about becoming rich and without having to do any work. And they prey upon these guys with subscriptions. And it's at a minimum, it's $50 a month. But let's just take a look and see what he says.
Producing an advert. The faster you produce an advert, the faster it's out, the faster you get results. If you do it quick enough, you might be able to produce 2 adverts in the time that other people take to produce 1.
This is a classic pressure scheme. You know, you gotta act. You gotta act now. You gotta act now. Why do you have to act now? Because he needs the fucking money.
You have to attack and you have to move quickly. When I talk to people, people say to me all the time, I have a business idea. I'll say, okay, cool. A week later, I'll say, how's your business? They'll go, what business? You have an idea, and it's been a week. Where's your fucking company? Where's your business? It's been a week, you ain't done shit. People are lazy, people are slow, people are complacent, including you. Everything must happen instantly, quickly, fast, speed, attack.
See how he's trying to get into the head of, you know, his audience, the people that are paying for this education, for lack of a better word. Where is he going to go with this? You know, speed. It's just got to, the only thing that matters is speed. You haven't opened up your company.
Hitler conquered Europe with blitzkrieg. You need to go quickly.
Hitler conquered Europe with blitzkrieg. Who's he appealing to there? And how did that work out for Hitler? Not very well. And how is this working out for Mr. Tate? Not very well. So I just wanted to give you kind of a glimpse into his high pressure, because you sit there and you're in your basement, you know, your mom's upstairs. Mom, I need some more meatloaf. You know, whatever. Your Cheeto stained underwear, and you're watching this guy, and you're gonna follow this guy. I mean, he's just saying what he needs to say to get you to spend more money with him. That's what this is designed to do. But if you look at, take the girls out of it, take the sex trafficking completely out of it. His way of doing business, even by his own admission, is that he's not paying taxes. He owes 13.5 million lei. That's LEI, I think it's how you pronounce it, which is actually, I think, about $3 million in back taxes that they know of so far. He's also teaming up with, or has teamed up in a couple different companies. The Las Vegas Games is one, and there's these Mafia brothers that are being invested by Tate. Tate is that the investigative agency in Romania. And so these, and then he talks about other schemes, and they're just, nothing is sacred with this guy. Now, the authenticity of the stuff that we come across, I mean, clearly that video was him from Hustler University. I want you to listen to this recording. This is of Andrew Tate, and listen to what he's advocating. And this just blows my mind how this is even out in the ether. You talk about self-snitching. Why do you think I hold these hats in such regard? Because I want you guys to stop self-snitching. Listen to this.
On this exchange is war room only, guys. The guys who owns this exchange is straight fucking gangster. So if you Google up, you'll notice that the Bulgarian government, they seized about, I think, some billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin from some criminal guys, and they did that because the guys were trying to sell the Bitcoin through an exchange. So they've made their own exchange now.
If somebody is under the watchful eye of the government, you want to get as far away from them as possible, because you don't want to be painted with their brush, right? He is not only self-snitching in this clip, but he's snitching on others. Listen to this.
It's basically a mafia exchange. So all the mafia guys are just going to be fucking around with all their money in here. Because this exchange don't give a shit where the money comes from. It's all just shady underworld shit. But the BOA coin that they've launched, they're going to pump hard. So get the coins free now, because they're completely free. It's going to go up. So they've got some things going on. It's going to go up. I'll let you know when it's probably, they'll tell me when a good time to sell is.
Okay, first of all, he tells you that there's this Mafia Exchange, and they don't give a shit where the money comes from. Well, that's money laundering 101. I mean, it just is. Secondly, nothing's free in this world. You know, you're gonna log on, you're gonna buy some of this BOA coin, and just listen to the rest of this.
Like, I don't know what they're aiming for. They're aiming for $100 a coin. That's gonna be fucking hard. They're aiming for $100 a coin, for $100 a coin, for $100 a coin. But we'll see what happens. But even if it goes up to $50, $60 a coin, who cares? It's free. So that's a Mafia Exchange. But yeah, that's why it's hard for U.S. citizens. But if you want to use a VPN, no one gives a fuck.
No one gives a. Who's gonna take advice from this guy? Honestly, who's gonna take advice, business advice? Okay, here I'm gonna tell you. Just go onto this Mafia Exchange. Nobody cares. Hey, nobody gives it. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is just. First of all, if you're in bed with the mafia, you better not put shit online, because you put stuff online, guess what? They don't like people talking at all, because they don't want limelight shining on them. This is just ridiculous. And I'm going to wait for Andrew Tate. Okay, you tell me when, Andy. I mean, come on. Does that? Oh, you know what? It's called a classic pump and dump scheme, and it's a way to scam people out of a lot of money, and it's also a way to launder money. See, the thing is, I think these guys like to, they want to be around greatness, right? I want to be rich, and they see Tate with his Bugatti, and they want to be rich. They want to be like him. He's got all kinds of women. I'm going to be like him. Well, the War Room was another subscription, a more elite subscription service for $5,000. In 2019, they had a meetup, and the feedback from it was like the fun first night, mediocre seminars thereafter. But the Tates actually forced them, the group, to pay them restitution when they got drunk on their own time, which is just, I mean, because you saw how he is with the Hitler comments and how militant he is about this and that. They threaten physical beatings with these guys because a bunch of guys walked out on their tabs. So you've got a situation where you got this war room, and these guys who are paying this money, this $5,000, and then going to this meetup and then getting sanctioned for whatever misconduct issued by Tate and the other people that are running this thing. You got guys basically paying their life savings to get close to what they believe is greatness. So between the sex trafficking, the tax situation that he's facing, the money laundering, the outright fraud, it is more encompassing than just the sex trafficking part of this case. And they've taken every ounce of physical assets that he had, in all those cars, and, they've taken all of his seized his bank accounts. And I just don't know how somebody follows a guy like this. I know there's a lot of people that support him and they say free Tate and whatever. And I'm totally against the pre-charging detention without some bail or without knowing what your charges are. I think that's BS. But at the same time, guys, there's no shortcut. You can't go take your life savings, give it to some guy like Tate, and then hope to succeed. You know, there's so many scammers out there. In fact, there's somebody that's impersonating me. So if anybody with a CLR Bruce Rivers or any variation thereof ever tries to hit you up for money or tries to get you into a Bitcoin or, you know, any kind of scheme, disregard it, because I would never do that. 100% would never do that. You can see how many subscribers we have on IG. You can get us on Instagram anytime, and I respond to quite a few of the messages, and people have been reporting it. But Andrew Tate's no different. I mean, he's every. I mean, you heard him talk about this Mafia Exchange. You think the Mafia Exchange wants to be identified as a Mafia Exchange? I mean, shut your damn mouth. Get off my side if I'm one of those guys, right? This has just been our a little bit of news, you know, in that Andrew Tate was again denied his appeal, so he's going to be held for another 30 days. So he's been in there almost 90 days now. And remember, they can only hold him for 180 days total without charging him. Otherwise, they got to let him go. But my guess is once we get closer to that 180 days, you'll probably see some kind of charging by the prosecutor's office. But keep in mind, this isn't just about sex trafficking. You know, he owes like $3 million or $13.5 million lei. He's in bed with guys who are being investigated in Bulgaria, and he's got his ties into a mafia exchange, and he's pumping and dumping that stuff. You know, not now, obviously, because he's in custody, but there is no shortcut, ladies and gentlemen. There is not. The guy who gets up, who works his ass off for a decent wage and comes home smelling like hell and collapses on the bed because he's tired, but he doesn't have to look over his shoulder, that's the hero. That's the hero. The guy who supports his family and makes sure that they're cared for, not the guy, you know, there's just no shortcut, ladies and gentlemen. There just isn't. Do things that, you know, fulfill you. Don't follow charlatans. And we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe. Sign up for Patreon. We'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away.
23-hour lockdown, please, is that my God?